everyone. Just a quick disclaimer. We recorded our audio over Zoom, and as we've stated before, my internet isn't the best. So some of Adrian's audio clips out now and then. It's not too distracting, hopefully, but it's there. And when the internet finally clocked out on us, we tried to take the conversation over the phone and record it, but that audio got all messed up, and this is all that was recorded. One of the main things that we talked about during that phone conversation was just how appreciative we were of all the new fans and the continuing fans who've liked our social media pages and have subscribed to this YouTube channel. It doesn't go unnoticed, and we appreciate you guys very much. Thank you all. And let's get into the episode. Hey everyone, this is Navajo Tea Time. This time we're kind of doing it like a podcast style because getting together and recording video is a little bit difficult right now, with the Navajo Nation being under another lockdown and me and Adrian being super busy with our everyday work life.
Yep. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to be moving forward with Navajo Tea Time, and we're trying out this new style to see how our audience responds. But it feels really good to be back.
So I guess if we go chronologically, the Hemp Farms is something you wanted to talk about.
Well, it's not so much like this is something I'm dying to talk about. It's just that, when I was thinking about what are some key topics, some key tea topics that are on the Navajo Nation, I feel like the three topics that we identified are definitely affecting the Navajo Nation, and they really are hot points of conversation. So I wanted to kind of touch up on every single one of them. So the first topic being the hemp farms is there's been this discussion lately about hemp production on the Navajo Nation, and two sides of this argument are kind of going back and forth in conversation right now. So on one side, we have people saying that hemp production is beneficial to our economy. It's a way for us to capitalize on this resource. Considering the area where it would be grown, it is very fertile. It's in this place called Fruitland, New Mexico. And there in this area, a lot of people, they grow various kinds of vegetation, and hemp production would be a way for the Navajo Nation to try out this product to see what could be manufactured from it and see what kind of sales could come in to really kind of boost the local economies. On the other side, there are people saying, absolutely not. And this is something that is illegal and it hasn't been properly vetted and approved. And so there are people that are straight up like, no, this is not good. We don't like it. And what happened was there was an entrepreneur who decided to start up hemp production on his land. And he had workers, who had come out to tend to the crops. And what happened was it got raided because there were reports from neighbors saying that he was growing marijuana. And a lot of people on social media were really like going back and forth on this topic because they're like, that's not our way. We shouldn't be doing that. And then there's others that are, but marijuana is not the same as hemp. They're utilized differently. And so that's the topic I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe you can add a little bit to that conversation.
I was kind of reading the story as it was happening in, was it December?
Yeah.
Not December, months.
Like October?
Kind of like September, October, yeah. And everyone, at first, they were saying it was a marijuana field, and then it's like, no, it's hemp. And then there was definitely the argument on whether or not hemp and marijuana were the same thing, and some people not fully understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's still the underlying thing that hemp is still illegal to grow on the Navajo Nation. And a lot of people, from what I was reading, they were upset with the fact that he wasn't fully truthful about what he was going to be growing, and that he was bringing other employees from off the reservation, and basically setting up like a little commune or something like that, where they were like living in tents or tiny houses on the property and growing it, and not using local labor, I guess, was one of the major points.
Yeah, and something too that came out later, and I don't know how factual this is, but there was a report that there actually was a drug raid that occurred, and that there were people that were arrested because they were not supposed to be working in that space. And I don't know, it gets really dramatic and really crazy. And so I know this has been like a big hot point on the Navajo Nation right now, because yes, we do want to boost our local economies. Yes, we do want to start looking at what else is available, you know, that we can produce on the res. But then there's also this other side of it where it's like, you know, when it comes to like how truthful, you know, like not how truthful should people be, but how, I guess how it was done was, it caused a lot of concern for people who not only lived within that proximity, but people who were supposed to be overseeing. So, yeah.
For sure. If you don't want to be called out for doing shady stuff, don't act shady.
I think that's really the lesson here.
Yeah. Okay, so going on to the next topic, the election. If we're going to go chronologically, the election. What are your thoughts about the election?
The election 2020. Oh my goodness. Okay, so my experience with the election is I was stressed out for about a week. So leading up to the election, I was very anxious. Election day came. I knew that it was going to be drawn out, so I mentally prepared myself to be, you know, calm and patient until Friday. I was like, okay, they're projecting that we should have some answers by Friday. So I was kind of, you know, keeping track of the votes coming in. I was, you know, keeping track of all the different states that were calling the election. And it was getting me very, very like stressed out. And by Saturday, I was a mess. I was a total wreck. My patience had run out by then. I was like sick to my stomach, and yeah, my feet were hurting, which is weird. I don't even know. I was stressed out. And I went to go see a friend of mine, and she was laughing. She was like, you need to chill out. This is not even something you should be stressing out about. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's important, you know, like the outcome is going to greatly affect, you know, my life personally for the next 4 years. And she was like, I know, but you know, still you shouldn't be stressing out over it. So, but away in the afternoon, oh my God, it was like this weight had been lifted off of me. And I knew that it was going to still probably continue for the next few days, because I knew there were going to be like people were going to say, no, it's not real. We're going to fight this. You know what I mean? We need true answers, blah, blah, blah. I knew there was going to be a fight for it. So I was kind of like ready for that. But at the same time, it just felt good to be at this point when we could see, you know, which direction it was going. And it was very clearly going in favor of one candidate, and the other candidate was losing favor as far as the votes were concerned. And so that settled me. And, you know, coming from a bipartisan perspective, it wasn't about which side won. It was just about the uncertainty that was stressing me out. It was about the uncertainty of like not knowing, and you know, just kind of like what to plan for, you know what I mean? Because I mean, depending on which way it went, it would change a lot of things, especially where you know, where I live and work, I guess. So, and I know it's like that for a lot of people too. So that was interesting. What were your thoughts?
Honestly, like I did my mail-in ballot 2 weeks ahead of time, and then my mom came down to do her voting, and I did our chapter vote. But then I had so many things going on. Like I had a job to go out and do, so I needed to get a test done for COVID before I could start the job. And so I was getting that done, and then I was dealing with my Nellie Hustine's funeral and everything. And like at 10 o'clock at night, I was like, oh, I should check the election results because I don't have cable TV or satellite TV, so we don't get live news feeds. And so I just checked it on Facebook or Google, like they had their updated election results. I'm like, oh, Biden's winning. Cool. I'm going to go to sleep now. I have so many other things to worry about at this moment that like trying to look at all the numbers rolling in wasn't on my top tier of things to worry about because I couldn't control it. Um, so that's what my thought was like, okay, I'll monitor it, but I can't control it. So I'm going to worry about the things that I actually have to worry about at the moment.
Yeah, and you know, leading up to the election, I was seeing there were a lot of Trump supporters that were out rallying, they were flying their flags, they were doing those Trump trains, and I was seeing that a lot, and they were very loud about, you know, their support, and I did not see a lot of people openly like sharing their support for the Biden Kamala ticket. And so, you know, it was very, I was just kind of like, which way is this going to go? I had no idea. And I had voted early as well. My husband and I, we submitted our ballots, you know, once they came in the mail, we filled them out and sent them back. So we knew we had done our part, but it was really like, okay, how are the people going to show up? You know what I mean? Who is going to do their part and vote this year? Because in conversations we had with our friends, some people were optimistic, some were pessimistic, and some people were completely apathetic. You know, we're not, they were like, we're not taking part in this. This is a freaking circus, you know? So, and I understand that, and I totally respect it too. I totally respect people's decision not to vote. However, when it comes to my own family, I do harass my family and I urge them to vote. Like, not my whole family, but like my parents for sure. I'm just like, did you register? Did you vote? And my husband's niece, she was actually looking people up. Anyone who was affiliated with the family, she was checking to see if they're registered. And she's in high school, you know, she's like 17. But she was to see who was registered and what party they were registered under. And if I was like, you go, girl. And it was funny because she checked up on us. She saw that we were registered. She asked us, did you guys vote? We said, yes, we did. And she was like, all right, then we got nothing more to talk about. So it was cool. And, you know, we got the results when they came in. I was just like, oh my God, finally. And I had met with my friend, and she and I were talking about, you know, what happened, and she was laughing because we saw this one car flying like really tiny Biden flags. They weren't like big Biden flags, but they were little. And my friend is a Republican and voted as a Democrat for the first time. It was like, oh, look, there's your Biden. And I was like, no, not my Biden. I was like, I voted for Kamala. And she was like, I get it. I see where you're coming from. And I'm like, yeah, that's who I voted for. I was like, the two guys that are fighting it out, I'm not really big fans of either of them, but I do have hope for female leadership in this country. And she was like, I respect that. You know, I get that. And I was like, cool.
That's all we were able to record before the internet started acting up. We would like to continue these conversations on our various social media platforms as well as in the comments below. So comment, subscribe, like all our other social media stuffs. And hopefully we will be able to have another episode out in December. Until then, we're going at